Hey guys, welcome to the stream. We are going to do something different. So yeah, for I don't know how many months I've been streaming here, but we've been working on systems requested by the viewers, and I thought, David, hello, welcome. I thought we could do something new, such as make a game. Why don't we make a game, community game? Yes, we can get started here with a poll of basically what type of game we want to make. So I'm going to get the poll up. It should be something relatively simplistic, only because, you know, we're going to be working at it once-ish a week, minus next weekend. In May, there's one weekend where I'm going to do Tarkov debugging, so that'll be next stream. But yes, so, you know, start throwing off in the comments what kind of genres you guys want to see. And I mean, I'm going to do the obvious. So here we'll go FPS, because everybody's going to want to possibly do that. I'll do RPG. Seems a little, actually we can do a simple RPG, I think. Like, we're not going to go super crazy or anything like that. We'll do platformer. And what's another one here? Yeah, throw another one in the comments here, and I'll throw the poll up, and you guys can choose what kind of game we're going to make. And as a community, every stream, we will make the decisions on the game and make it fun and learn how to make games in the progress. So, or in the process. So, yeah, FPS, RPG, platform already on here. Side scroller, sure, yeah, we can do that. Add platform, side scroller. I'm kind of bored of FPS too, David, to be honest. Why can't I see my thing? There it is, side scroller. I'm super bored of FPS myself. I'm personally fine with taking that out. RPGs are just more fun in a sense. Yeah, because, you know, I am going to take FPS out because, you know, after doing my FPS series, I'm just going to be showing a lot of the same stuff I've been doing before. I kind of want to do some new stuff just to learn. So, yeah, I got RPG platformer, side scroller. Trying to think of anything else that would be cooler. Let's see here. I can switch over to the... Oh, whoops, sorry, not that one. Streaming, this one. This stream, there we go. Switch over to this. So, yeah, why don't we just look at a new project. Let's see what the... So what we got, top-down, first-person, third-person, obviously. We got some variants in here. Combat, platform, side-scroller. I mean, we could do a combat one. Action-adventure like Double Dragons. I actually am not familiar with that game, but... Double Dragons, action-adventure, we can probably loop that into RPG. I don't think, if we do an RPG, action-adventure type of thing, I think we'll just do like a one-level, you know, type of thing. We can do like a couple of quick quests and stuff like that, so... So, let's see, RPG, platformer, side-scroller, this says combat. I'll throw combat in here. You know, we'll make something simpler. So we're going to start the poll there. We're going to find out what kind of game we're going to make as a community. So, we got how many people watching? It doesn't show me there. 6 people watching right now. So, yeah, you guys are going to shape what this project's going to look like. So, we'll see how it all goes. While we're waiting, let me know what you guys think and or what you guys have been working on lately. I've missed 2 weekends in a row for streaming. So, you know, let me know what you guys are working on and how your things are going, and we'll talk it out. So, let's see here. It is a tough decision to make 100%. I like RPG, but can you talk about how RPG progresses? I mean, yeah, we can add a level system, simple level system or something like that. 100%. If that's what you're talking about. Shrish, so hang on, just... Can I call you Saren? Is that acceptable? Because I don't want to butcher your other name. Some card games. I'm not going to lie, I could not even remotely fathom how to do a card game. I tried to make basically a regular-ass, like, card game that my parents and I play over, like, holidays and stuff like that, and I literally couldn't figure it out. It has a lot to do with materials, actually, because you have a master material that has all the cards on it, and then you... through some parameters get that material, and then you showcase the right card. It's like, it's super complicated, so I'm not into that personally. Saren, perfect. Sure, I'll call you Saren because that'll make it easier. Because I don't know how to say the other part of your name without making it sound awful and possibly offending you. So, but all right, let's see what's winning here. So, RPG and combat are tied. One person said side scroller. So we'll see here. How many people are watching here? We got 9 people watching. So yeah, if you guys just joined, we're going to be making a community game now from basically, hopefully for the rest of the year, we can work on this. So yeah, just choose what type of game we're going to be making. Okay, so let's see. I'm building a wave type game in which every level has multiple waves. Okay, I see. So you're making that could be part of the combat. If we do the combat thing, sure, we can do a wave-based thing, 100%. Combat might win, sure. We got 9 people, so how many votes we got? We got 8 votes, so one person hasn't voted yet, so we'll see what they have to say. And don't choose combat just because you want combat, or you think combat's going to win anyway. I'm pretty sure if you get one more vote on RPG, it's going to be tied, and then we'll go to a tiebreaker, combat and RPG. We'll see what happens there. Okay, but let's see here. There can also be situations where my level 1 will have melee, but 2 will be complete turrets. Sorry. Oh, okay. There can also be situations. So level 1 will have melee only, and level 2 will be complete turrets. Okay, I see. Stealth combat. Ooh, we could do something interesting like that. That'd be cool. Okay, so like I said, 9 people watching right now. I don't know if I'm counted in that because I have my studio open. I don't think that would count. That'd be really strange. But 8 votes in, 9 people watching. So whoever has not voted yet, vote now. Okay, we got 9 votes in. Okay, so it's tied. All right, so what we'll do here is we'll end the poll. It's a tie. We're gonna do a new poll, and it's only gonna be. So basically, the one person that voted side scroll is gonna have to decide RPG. or combat. Start poll. All right, let's see what goes on here. I was just working on random stuff in my project. I can redo my vote to combat. So yeah, we'll just one more vote and then we'll get started here. So yeah, what we'll do here, throughout the weeks is, obviously we got to make a test level, do our basic mechanics, all that kind of stuff. So we'll start with that. Hi, just joined. Sorry, it was later. That was me, side scroller. Okay, would my level progression be in combat or RPG? I mean, it could be in either, to be honest. Right? Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, it could be in either. RPG obviously has more level-based stuff, generally speaking. Combat games. And sorry, when you say level, you mean like the physical level you're playing in, or like your level as a character? Right, so we got 8 votes in, 10 people watching now, so we'll see here. It looks like combat probably will take it. Yeah, we got 9 votes in. Yeah, okay, so we'll do a combat game. So we'll end the poll there. TAKENGRACE, have you messed with any mod kits? Just diving into the Arc dev, it's a mess. I have not. I know one member in the Discord, WOV, he's been modding. God, I can't even remember the game. It's an older game. It's like 10 years old. But he's been modding that game for 10 years, basically. So, okay, so we're going to make a combat game. I have not fooled around with the combat variants, but we'll try it out. We'll just say, TG, community, game, combat, working title. So yeah, project name creates. Yeah, so we'll do a bunch of cool stuff here. Oh shoot, I put it in the wrong folder. Oh, whatever, that's fine. Whatever it is, I'll follow through. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, like I said, community game. So let's, we'll be probably using a lot of polls. I'll be just taking a lot of comments off the top here. So, okay, so we got to come up with a concept for our game. So it's a combat game. Do we want to make it a wave-based shooter? Wave-based fighting thing? Right, so someone brought that up already. I think that'd be good. So here's our test level. I'm just going to get rid of all the default BS, right? I already have an idea for the spawner. Okay, so that's all gone. I hate all those. I will also get rid of these half circles and this platform. I'll get rid of all the platforms, actually, for now. I just want an open space to work in while we figure out if we're going to be doing a, whatever I said earlier. Okay, all done. Then I'll go and grab all the lighting stuff, and I'll just move it the hell out of the way here so I don't have to look at it. See ya. Right, there we go. All right, cool. So we got 13 people watching now. We're making a community game. Let's. I'll make a. I'll put that in the as a pinned comment here. We're making a community. Every time somebody asks what we're doing, moo. That's what we do here. Community. I'm spelling community super wrong. Community game. We chose combat. Combat and... sorry, yeah, let's do that for now, and then I can change the pinned comment if it's something else. Pinned message, there we go. Okay, so we got some comments here. Sub-level because I'm using level streaming. Okay, I see. Why don't we do this? Why don't we make... So we'll make all the default stuff, and I should be making a, what's it called? Like some sort of document to keep track of what we're doing here as well. So, yeah, because obviously we'll have a bunch of ideas, and then I'll forget about it next week, right? That's how my brain works. So I'll just close all my stuff here. So I'm just going to bring this onto screen. So for those of you who watch my stream regularly, you'll know that I use a program called, what is this called? Insidian, all right? That's what it's called, right? I can't even remember. So yeah, we're gonna make. So yeah, I use Obsidian. That's what it's called. To keep track of all my notes. This is all my game development notes. So if I make a system, I come in here and I paste. So character selection. I made a character selection system. Here's how I did it. Here's all my code. You know, blah blah blah. Here's all the UI. So this is I did a tutorial on YouTube about this. So yeah, this is what I'll do. I'll go in. I'll figure out how to do it. I'll take screenshots of everything that I did, all the code that I did, and then if in the future, if I have a game. You know, character selection screen, like maybe in this game we can do that, then here we go. We can use this as a reference. Obviously, I keep in mind that when I made this character selection system, I probably had different sets of knowledge than I do now. So obviously I can look at this and be like, that's not really that optimized. I would probably do it a different way now, or whatever the case is, right? So that's a really good way to keep track of all your stuff, because, you know, a lot of people will make a system and then they'll keep migrating that system over. That's totally a fair way to do it. However, obviously, I keep leveling up my knowledge in Unreal Engine, and I think it's a good idea to, you know, take that knowledge and then, you know, re-implement it or whatever the case is, right? So, is Mark missing? Yeah, Mark is just MIA. We have not heard from him in a couple weeks. We're a little concerned, to be honest. You know, so stylized cartoony combat sounds more interesting than realistic for sure. Yeah, we can do something silly like that for sure. But yeah, we're making a community game. Perfect. It's a great free tool. There are free plugins that tailor to your needs. Yes, like dark mode. God, bright lights off my computer screen makes my head hurt, so everything's in dark mode. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna make a new thing here. So I think I'll make a new folder, and then I'll just call it community. Actually, let's call it YouTube community. See how I'm getting used to not putting spaces in anything? It's because I'm trying to be a better game dev here. Anyways, community game combats. Okay, so let's just make a new one here called, you know, ideas. So we're thinking wave-based combat fighter game. Combat game, right? And then we have somebody mentioned sub-levels. So maybe, so the idea I had was we can create, you know, 2 to 3, or let's say 2 to 3, maybe even 3 to 4, you know, levels for fighting, and then you have to beat all the enemies. Beat all enemies to advance, and then we gotta get King Boars in here to help us out with the boss and level 4, right? Okay, and then so what we could do is we can make a landscape. So we'll probably only make it like 2 squares or something like that, right? But yeah, we can drop our level instances in, and then as soon as we complete that area, then we can leave that level instance that's in the world, and then we can continue on to the next one. So that'll kind of help cover that sub-level thing that you're talking about there. So yes, and then we'll say placed in a God, my landscape. Cool. So it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for this. Make a Sifu-like game. I don't know what that is. So that's the second. I think the second game you've mentioned in the stream, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Maybe I got to get out more. I hate bright workspaces so much. I have dark mode for my dark mode. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see here. Yeah, you guys are funny. You're making fun of my speech. No, just kidding. Obsidian, just going back and making sure. Don't pin it. We want the moves. You know, we're going to get the moves anyway. You guys know this. Everyone joins in halfway through, and they're like, oh, what are we doing? What are we working on? Right? So, for those who don't know, that's a running joke on our channel. We had something happen with one of our members where he was making a survival game, and he kind of just had a basic bitch character, we'll call it. And it's a survival game where you're fighting for your farm, so I suggested that he makes his main character a cow, and then that became a whole thing on the Discord, so that's what happened there. Alright, I forgot what I was doing. Oh, I was gonna moo. That's what we do here. Anyways, okay, so that's what that is. Say decal. That is how we say it in Western Canada, so you guys can all suck me. How about that? With your decals. I was talking with Tommy yesterday. We had a one-on-one tutorial. If you guys are interested in doing that, it's available on my website. You can check it out, book a one-on-one with me, or members who are Royals or Sovereign members, you guys get a free session with me a month. So, anyways, yeah, we were talking yesterday, and he just implemented a footstep and sound system for the footsteps. So it adds... or I was talking about adding decals or whatever and sounds and stuff to your footsteps, and he said he followed a tutorial, and just how that tutorial taught it was super wrong. So I told him I actually would seriously consider doing a tutorial for that kind of stuff. So funny, Mexico, we should say decal, but we say decal. Yeah. All right, so Tommy's just trying to stir the decal shit pot. So anyways, all right, so there's our ideas for now. So... once again, I've not played around with the combat variant, so I'm going to first of all move the player start back here, and then I'm just gonna explore this variant. I just want to see what's in here. So obviously, okay, so let's just hit play. Let's just see what happens here. Okay, we walk around, we can jump. Can we punch? No, we can't punch. Some combat variant this is, right? Unless it's a key. Okay, so you can run and jump. That's super cool. Yeah, you know. Anyways, okay. Unless, what game mode do we have in? Let's see. Maybe we have the default game mode in and not the combat one. Yes, that's correct. So let's change this to BP combat game mode. Then we'll hit play. There's our combat person. We can still jump and... Can we punch or do anything? No, we can't. Okay, that's lame. Whatever, we'll figure that all out later. Combat game mode. Yeah, we selected that. Let's open this up. The combat controller, the combat player. That's all the default stuff. Okay. Let's see. Activatable, attacker, damageable. Camera, shake, hit enemy, and hit player. Let's see what's in the player. Do they have the controls in like usual, which is stupid? Stupid! Alright. So, event apply damage, which is an interface. Which, again, I don't know why they're not using the in-engine this. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just call this from whatever the actor is. That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, whatever. Add impulse... Spawn system at location damage. Okay, so there's a particle system. Add impulse to location. Okay, all right. We got a lot of stuff in the player. That's interesting. Usually I don't do that. Okay, so look, thumbstick. I'll leave all the default stuff in case when we make these project files available that you guys can, if you want to put it on mobile or whatever the case is, then we'll do that. But character initialization, first time in nits, cast to the life bar. Man, there's some broken stuff in here that I don't want in here for sure. Life bar. See, I instead would put... Well, this life bar is a local component, though. So... For the player, probably would change that to be an actual UI health bar instead of a health bar hovering over me. To be... You know, I'd put these in the enemies for sure, but... reset HP, blah, blah, blah. Set percentage... Okay. Alright, well, that's what's going on here. Attack. Yeah, let's look at the controls, because I don't know what the hell they are. Combo attack. Left mouse. Charge attack. Right mouse. camera side, R. Okay, so that's at A. All right, so let's see here. I like stirring the pot. Yeah, I know you do. Let's see. Can you show how PUBG scope zoom works like a simplified version? I mean, I don't think that would fit into this game, but I don't... I've never played PUBG either. I kind of stayed away from that one. I played Fortnite instead, but I do have a scope tutorial if you're new to my channel, or as ADS tutorial that shows you how to basically aim down sight and how you can kind of have the data asset attached to that scope affect how far in you zoom and stuff like that. So you need to go into the combat level, which comes with the specific base project. Since Mark is gone, someone has to. Yeah. TG, I think there's a different map that has enemies and stuff. Okay, yeah, I will check that out. Combat brawler, but top down like Power Stone would be cool as well. Each part of the body should have a health bar, and it should affect the character's movement depending on the damaged limbs. That's pretty advanced, geez. But I'm trying to think how that would work in here. Because can you damage physics assets? That's a general question. I actually don't know. So, anyways, okay, we'll go to the combat level. We'll see what happens here. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's fight some dudes and let's see what happens. Okay, sure. We got a brawler. Animations are basic AF. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the health bar there, just personally, right? Oh, you gotta punch your way through. That's super cool. Teach your player how to play the game by playing the game. Love it. Okay. Get the hell out of here. Got some big... Oh, there was the combo. Did you see that? That's cool. Except he's not taking any damage. Flanking. Oh, shit. I'm not sure what we want to do in terms of, like, the brawly part of it. I do want to fix the camera, though. Holy shit. The field of view sucks. And the camera... I also potentially want to do a lock-on system. Because this is super annoying to do that. Okay, anyways, I beat Buddy into a pulp, and then this guy's coming out of nowhere. So, alright, that's pretty cool. Yeah, camera sucks, so we'll be fixing that. Put that in my notes right now, so we're gonna add a... We'll call it a dynamic camera. That can lock on, we'll say. Lock on. Okay, so... a dynamic that can lock on. Okay, sounds good. And then we'll have to... create... Yeah, sorry, my brain's just kind of working. Add dynamic camera, then I think that should potentially be one of the first things we do, because that's going to be a huge gameplay component. Yeah, let's see what else we got. So... I'm trying to see what we said here. Detect surface. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Eddie. Oh, you're talking... Keep up the good work, Tommy. Okay, sorry. Not to take Tommy's thunder there, but... anyway, so we got... You can set sockets on skeleton meshes to detect the damage, and then event dispatch an async meshes to update the player movement component. Okay, copy that. Let's recreate Nest Kung Fu, right? Imagine this game becomes some huge thing. Yeah, I doubt it, but we'll shoot for the stars. Common ways to trigger damage on physics objects: projectile hit, apply point damage, or radial damage at impact location. Okay, according to Grog. All right, cool. Well, sounds good. Let's fix the camera first, because yeah, the camera's effing broken. I hate it. So, the other things I want to fix, personally, I don't like how much stuff's going on in the player character. That's not good, because if we want to have a different player character, well, guess what? We want to have all this in the controller, right? So, let's do that after, because I don't want to move all this over right now, because it'll basically waste our time on the stream here. So, okay, play world, camera shake. So, I haven't done a lot of stuff with the camera yet. I know obviously we're gonna have to use the camera manager and all that kind of stuff. So let's look into that right now. So variant, is there a nothing to do with camera in here. It's probably all inside here also. Event graph. Well, first of all, the camera boom. I wonder if we should probably fool around with that. There is an engine camera manager though, isn't there? Blueprints, let's just say blueprint class. I'm sure there's a camera manager of some, because you can get the camera manager, right? Player camera manager. Is this in C++ or is this in blueprints? Let's see here. Player camera, okay, it's a C++ class, which I'm not super good in C++ yet. I've been learning it, so eventually I'll teach you guys how to do it, but if you don't know. But yeah, so we need to make a new one that's going to specifically be in blueprints. So we'll content. God, we should just delete this, to be honest. Because we're not using this, right? No, we're using none of this. We're going to be using the combat variant, so. Third-person character controller is being referenced in all of these. Okay, well, forget it then. Don't want to break anything. So we got characters. We're going to make a new folder called camera. Yeah, camera, we'll say. Okay, new blueprint class, which will be a camera manager. Select, we'll say BP camera manager. Let's open that up. Okay, so we got... Thanks, Eddie. 22 of you are all watching. Give Taken a like. Only 7 so far support the channel. Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it. You can make a BP, I think. Yeah, David. Yeah, so yeah, we just did. And, of course, my, hyper-focused brain did that and then read your comment afterwards. Anyways, let's open that up. Okay, so we've got the camera manager here. Again, I've not really done this before, so this is going to be one of those other things we'll be just kind of figuring out as we go. But let's go to the event graph. I want to just see what's in class defaults here. Camera manager. So, okay, so this is an actor. So, yeah, okay, so this is an actor. It has a transform component, obviously. So, let's see, class defaults, collapse all categories. Anything interesting in here? Player camera manager, default field of view. So that can be updated for sure. Can we also modify the camera boom arm? That's what I want to know. Use client-side camera updates. My multiplayer skills are still a little bit weak, so I don't know if we should make this multiplayer or not. Probably not, just so we can get a game shipped, essentially. Camera modifier. Okay, alright, so that exists. Debugging, free cam distance, blah, 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 blah. Okay, actor, all that stuff is all the usual stuff. Okay. So, default field of view, 90, I personally like 120, but I'll do 100 just to get it out a little bit. Can we add a camera boom here, or a spring arm? We can, so let's do that. Let's add a camera as well. And we'll attach it to the spring arm. So the spring arm is going to contain, so if we go back to the character, so I'll put this off to the side here, do this, and drop a character in here. Blueprints, combat character, whatever the hell. Okay, so that camera is super close. I hate that so much. So if we go back to the player character, the boom arm is going to control how far away the camera is. So target arm length is 100. We can make that 200, which already looks better. I would also go to the viewport and probably make this camera a bit higher and a bit tilted like lower like that is probably how I do it, just so we can see over the character's freaking shoulders, right? I think you can only set the camera boom length in the actor it is attached to. I think what we're going to be doing is we're going to be attaching... I wonder, actually, does this camera component... It's got to work with this somehow. Right? So... Camera... Interesting. We'll figure this out because obviously there's going to be a camera manager because you can access the camera manager from frickin' literally anywhere, right? So you go to event graph. This is in the player. You can get camera manager, right? So, right, this can be called anywhere in the engine. So you can apply camera shake, all that kind of stuff, right? So get the field, get the look of the camera or where the camera's looking, so it knows, you know, where to draw a line trace or whatever the case is, stuff like that, right? So, but how do you set the this camera manager to be the default one? That's what I want to know. Class settings, parent class obviously is that. None of this matters. Okay, but yeah, so we want 300 seems pretty good. What did I set this at? 200? 200, yeah, okay, let's switch it back to that. We'll add a function in here where we can zoom out the target arm length to like 300 if you want, or back to 200 or whatever the case is. Camera manager set in the controller if I remember correctly. All right, let's check it out. Combat player controller. That would make sense. The camera manager lives in the controller, actually. So let's go to class defaults. Let's type camera. Player camera manager class. Look at that. BP camera manager. Okay, super cool. So it's got all the basic functionalities, everything else. So the controller has got to be where we control all of the camera stuff. I bet you if I hit play, it's not going to work. The camera. Yeah, the camera's all messed up. So, unless that's because I have to delete the camera in here. Let's do that. Let's delete this and delete the camera in here and we'll see what happens. Because I did target arm length, reset the camera distance. Well, we don't need that in here either. We'll start breaking stuff. Target must have a connection. What do we got here? Update third person camera offsets. This is changing the camera side. Toggle shoulder timeline. Do we care about... I don't know if we care, but let's copy this anyway, or cut it, and let's put it in the controller. And then we'll fix all the stuff. Okay, so toggle camera side, flip-flop, what was this event? It's probably cancel. Let's see, let's go back here, hit this. Target must have a connection. Pull back the camera. Handle death event. We'll do that later. Okay, so when we die, we'll pull back the camera. That's a good idea, to be honest. Okay, so next we got whatever this area is. Target must have a connection. Set the third-person camera offset. They did that in the construction script. Sure, we can do that too. We'll cut that. We'll go to the camera manager, construction scripts, paste that. We got to make those variables. Create shoulder offsets. Camera height. We can set all those afterwards. And set relative look. Okay, sweet. So we'll exit that. I still haven't found that event, where it calls that event. For whatever that was to stop. Where is it right here? What was this custom event? Toggle camera side. What would that event have been? Oh, goodbye. I'm going to delete that. Target must have a connection. Target is scene component, so it'll probably be this the root, right? Yeah, because it's looking for a scene component for the yeah, that makes sense. So we'll do this. Target is scene components, same dealio, so we'll do this. Compile, those errors should go away. This is all good. All right, let's see what it looks like. It's going to probably not work, and yeah, so... all right, so, I mean, the camera works, obviously, so we just need to set some default values here. So let's go to the camera manager. The camera height, let's just say 10 for now, and the shoulder offset, let's say 10. Okay. let's see. It's better to have a subsystem for those type of systems. Yes, I agree. But yeah, like Nas said and all that, there you can only do it in C++. You can only set it up in C++ and then call it in Blueprints. So camera manager is set in the controller. Yeah, it's on the player details. Yeah, I did all that. Man, I'm new to this community, and I just want to say that you're the best mentor I have found. I'm about to become a sovereign taken. You've helped me with Tarkov issue yesterday. It's Tier. I think that's how you say your name. Thanks so much. Yeah, man, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. I honestly I've been watching a couple of tutorials just to get ideas of how other things are taught. And how other people are doing stuff. Obviously, I have my own knowledge, so I look at this stuff and so I'm seeing what you guys see in other tutorials, and I'm like, this doesn't work, and I'm trying to take that and trying to put it in my own videos and make them better and basically try to get the point across as best as I can, right? So, Joppy, welcome to the stream again. I know you're at the very, very beginning. I just didn't say hi yet, so. So it says, highly recommend having membership with Taken Grace. Great support to have when you're making a game. Help move past bugs, helping expand on ideas. Brilliant support for your dev journey. Thanks. Appreciate the support, everybody. All right, so So David said the spring arm. TG, are you referring to something? I can't see. Oh, you retracted your message. I can't quite. I don't know what you're referring to when you say no. The spring arm, TG. I probably did something stupid, and David's being the lord of knowledge like usual. So, all right, we got that all pasted. That works. Let's just test out the changes we made. They did literally effing nothing. So, oh, the spring arm. Yeah, of course, derp. Target arm length. Use pawn. No, is it this one or the camera that we want to use the pawn controller rotation? I think it's the spring arm. Unless it's already... Okay, it's not in there. So yeah, I think it's the spring arm that we want. Yeah, because if we do the camera, then it rotates the camera relative to the spring arm. So it doesn't actually stay looking at the character. So anyways, target arm length. Socket offset. Oh, we got to set the socket probably, hey? Camera leg. Enable camera rotation lag. We'll see how it feels, I guess, hey? So, socket offset. Can I put the character in the world and then... Or did we do that? We did that already up here, right? No, we didn't. Character combat person, whatever the hell. Okay, so there's no camera in there. You said I had to set it in... No, I set it in the controller. How do you manage your camera then? If it's in the controller. You know what I mean? So, let's go here. Class defaults. Manager. No, okay. Not in there. I know it's in the controller, obviously. Auto manage active camera targets. I see that there's a play. Let's just, what's it called? Collapse all these. Player controller. Smooth target rotation, view rotation speed. Ooh, that's neat. That's neat. Player camera manager class. Auto manage active camera target. Allows player controller to manage the camera target for you, typically by using the possessed pawn as the camera target. Set to false if you want to manually control the camera target. Okay, that's cool. So it auto attaches to our own pawn. So that's good. Set transform should be the spring arm instead of the root. Copy that. Okay, I see what you're saying. So spring arm. Set relative location. Copy. Okay, and then where was the other one? It was in the construction script. Delete that. Put the spring arm in there. Compile. Let's check it now. Check it. No. Not quite. So how do we make the spring arm? Spring arm. Do we make the spring arm a root or the root? No, that would remove the location and rotation. We don't want that. So I think the boom is better if it's in the character. I think the camera can be custom actor if that camera manager spawns. Yeah, I was thinking offsets too, which these are set, they're pretty low. Let's just make them ridiculous. Let's make them like 100 and shoulder offset like 100 as well. We'll see what happens. Let's check the offsets first. Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure how to do the camera manager thing exactly. So let's XNA this. And yeah, I think I agree. Let's just do it in the player, I guess, which is annoying. Because when the player dies, you disable input, so you'd want to have some control over your you know what I mean? You want to still move your camera around your dead body and look around or something like that, so you'd want to usually put it in the controller, which is why probably this would be better. That's just my thought on it. Unless... Yeah, because if you disable inputs... Unless... Hang on, sorry, this is a controller? Is look in here? If look isn't in here, I wonder if we just put look inside the controller itself. And that probably would fix our issue. Let's do that. So, we'll find the look, death and damage, combo, blah, blah, blah. Character initialization, player, here we go. Movements, and let's just put both of these in the controller. Actually, no, let's just put camera. Sorry, my brain... not working well. So we just got to redo this, which is not a big deal. Okay, so in the controller, a simple player controller that manages input mappings. Yeah, okay. You have no input mappings in here, you goof. All right, so here we go. We'll create a matching function in here, even though there's going to be nothing in it. Custom event. This was the thumbstick, right? I don't know why that's a custom event. That is super odd. Alright, we'll get rid of that, sure. Okay, and mouse look and input action look. They're the same. Whatever, edit. We'll do this. Here's where you can add sensitivity. I've shown this before in previous things, but we can do, you know, X sensitivity setting. Sensitivity. That'll be a float. And I will duplicate that. Y sensitivity. Okay, so we're going to hit compile on that. The default, we'll just make 0.5. Okay, this is something we can add in our settings later to adjust our sensitivity. And usually in games they have them separated, the mouse sensitivity and the controller sensitivity. But we can work on that later. Anyways, we're going to, first thing you do, obviously, when you add input, we got to add yaw, which is the X input. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this and multiply it by our X sensitivity. Okay, let's clamp these as well. So let's go to, shit, can't we do that? Usually up here you can clamp them, in a sense. Do I have to compile to do that? Oh, these are local variables, that's why. Sorry, we don't want these to be local variables. We want these to be actual variables. So, we'll delete these, sorry. X sensitivity. Sensitivity 6. And Y sensitivity. Okay, now we'll hit compile on those. Let's put these in inputs. X will be 0.5, as will be Y. Look at the comments 2 secs. Right here, slider range. This is what we want. So we want 0 to 1 for these. And same thing with the value range. 0 to 1. Okay, so that's just, and this will just be done. Don't worry about replication. That is fine. We don't need this instance editable or anything like that. We can just literally edit this in the settings, and this will be all the same as well. So basically, this is if you do have this instance editable. So I'll just show you guys an example here. Whoops. If you guys don't know about this, so we have our player character in there. Sorry, I'll make these instance editable just to showcase this. Compile. Where's our player? There he is. Okay, we click on our player character. We come over to details. There is oh, it's in the controller. Shit. Can I drag the controller in? The controller's technically not an actor, so yeah, I can't. So never mind, forget it. But basically, this will only make any of these things here. Like, that's how you control this, right? Is you add the value and the slider range to be whatever that is. So the value can't go above 1 or below 0, right? So that's how you make that all work. Let me just reset whatever I just did there. Okay, so... yeah, are we using more than one camera? No, I don't think we will. Unless we, you know what, we might change cameras, actually. Like, so say we beat one of the areas, maybe we have the camera blend to another camera and show you, like, the next area and, like, all the enemies coming out to fight you or something like that, and then we blend back to our player camera. We can do something like that, but that doesn't require a camera manager for that specifically. The boom and the pawn, if not, you might not need it. Will the player state work? For which? For... Oh, for the no, the camera will not work in the player state because the player state does not inherit from player controller, and the player's controller is what is expecting inputs, not the player state. So that's why we wouldn't put the camera manager, or sorry, the camera and stuff in there. Spawn a new actor on death. That is a new camera to control after death. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll do that, 100%. You can just make the switch input mapping context when your player dies. Yeah, we can do all that too. Make the empty actor with the camera as a root and spawn and attach it to the pawn if you want. That also would work. I don't know why the camera manager blueprint would exist then if we could just do that. Unless you do that. Right? Because the camera manager is an actor. Do you spawn it in the world and attach it to the player? I'm sure that's probably what it is, but that's fine, whatever. Don't forget to like the video, good friends. Yes, thank you very much. AI look is for controller and mouse look is for the mouse. Okay, copy that. Anyways, here, back to this. So yeah, we're going to multiply our x axis by our x sensitivity, and then we will set... I'll promote this to a variable. We will set... Or sorry, x... inputs. X input, sure, we'll do that. Okay, and we'll set that value, and then we will add to the yaw input. Okay, so once again, that's how you add sensitivity settings, and that's how you can control it in your game with settings, obviously. I find 0.5 to be, like, really good, so I just set that as the default personally. So anywho's, we're going to, this is a function, so I can call get y axis. Just keep it clean. Then we're going to set pitch. Why can't I target as player controller, which is self? Oh, add pitch, sorry. Add pitch input, there it is. And exact same thing. Multiply this by our Y sensitivity. Boom. We'll be good game devs and comment all our stuff here. So let's move this down. Sets Y, sets Y input and multiplies it by Y sensitivity. And we'll say 0.5 defaults. Default. I'm going to copy and paste that comment. And we will comment only, and we'll move this over here, and we'll just change this to X by X. Okay, perfect. And now we can change this back to group movements. All right, there it is. So we now have our looking function working, so let's put that back. Oh yeah, it's already connected, perfect. Let's check it out here, make sure it works. Look at that, it works, everybody. Okay, and my sensitivity, oh yes, let's look right directly through our body. This is because we have in our character, we deleted all this, right? So we got to add it all back in. So we'll do spring arm, which will be, we'll just call the camera boom. And then we'll obviously add a camera as well back in here, attach to the camera boom, and we'll say follow cam. Okay, all right, so now that this is attached here, we'll do 200 here. We'll do the follow camera field of view as 100. and that's unchecked, which is what we want. Camera boom, we want use controller pawn rotation. Inherit pitch, yeah, we don't want roll. And that's all we want. Okay, so, oh, sorry, do we want... Yeah, we do. Okay, let's have a look here. Okay, so there. That feels pretty good, input-wise. Y could be lower, to be honest. Let's see what that feels like. Oh yeah, that feels really, like, actually really good for the, like, because the Y doesn't need to be super quick, because, you know, yeah. X for sure, because you want to turn around and do some stuff, right? So, alright, let's move the camera up here. The camera manager is persistent. I would assume so, since it's inside the controllers, but, in the world, oh, I see, okay. My internet is dying. No! Don't let it, David. You punch that internet. Alright, spring arm has all your camera lag settings. Also, if you're looking to tighten up the settings. Yes. Oh, you probably have a sensitivity setting in there too, hey? You don't have to manually make one? Yeah, it makes sense. But, okay, sounds good. So that works great. We're going to go back to this, and we are going to change where our follow camera stuff is. So first off, let's move the camera boom up to here. And then let's... Or do we want to keep the boom here and then adjust the camera? Let's do that. And we'll only do a 10% pitch. Maybe we can change that if we move it backwards. So, that sucks. We could do a shoulder offset just like... I have an idea too. But anyways, let's set this. Let's set an offset for the shoulder by 40 on the X. Sweet. And then what I'm thinking of is if you just push that switch side button, we'll just times the follow camera's transform on the X or whatever it was by -1, and then that will literally swap it to the other side. So that'll be pretty cool. And then for the zooming back, that will just be scroll wheel down and scroll wheel up. And then it'll just change literally how far the camera boom arm length is. So we'll go 300, right? So now we're farther away. I freaking hate that health bar. That's an awful place for that. So yeah, we'll be getting rid of that for sure. So, okay, that works great. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, let's do those two things. So we'll do the camera zoom out and zoom in so we can control that, and then we will do the swapping sides. Do that super quick and shouldn't take too long to do either of those. Let's start with the inputs. So, do we want to make everything in this variant, or do we want to do it? Let's just do it here, right? So actions, we already have, or we should already have one for switching sides, but that's fine. We'll make another one. Input. Oh, it's because it's in the combat, isn't it? Toggle camera side. Yeah, okay, so we'll just change that up, and then we'll make a new one. We'll just say adjust, IA, adjust cam distance. Okay, let's go to the IMC. Toggle camera side R. I'm sure we'll want R for something else, personally, but so let's change that. And this should not be D-pad down. This should be like toggle camera side. Could we do, yeah, let's do left and right. Gamepad, D-pad, right. Should we make two inputs, or should we just do an axis on here? That's a good question for me. I think toggle camera side, we'll just do... God, what's a good input for that? A? Not A, sorry, A. Let's do Alt, left Alt for now. I was thinking of using F left alt for possibly dodging or something like that, but we'll see. All right, so spring arm is all your camera. Yeah, you got all that. Bool. You're talking about Q maybe. Q and E for camera? I don't know, man. For swapping sides, that seems a little... I would... Q and E you'd want to use for something else, I would assume. Like, if we have any, like, you know, random abilities or something like that, then you'd definitely want to have Q and E as something else. Let's just do left alt for now, and we can use a... What's it called? Flip-flop node, and we'll do it that way. Okay, and then the other one we just added was combo attack. No, sorry, I forgot what the hell it was. Adjust camera distance. Okay, so then this one will be... sorry, I gotta do it this way. Mouse wheel axis. And then we need a swizzle on this. Actually, we might need... Oh, no, we don't. Mouse wheel axis is just a 1D, 1D axis, so we just need a swizzle, which is a modifier. Swizzle... So basically, this is how Unreal does axes in inputs, if you guys don't know, if you're struggling with this. So, let's just look at the move as an example. Okay, so right, like the vector right is like the default, right? So if you just add an input, a 2D axis input, and do literally nothing, every single button you push is going to move your character to the right. Okay, so that's how Unreal works. So, in order to rotate the axis to be on the Y, in the case of going forward and backwards, which is W and S, you need to add a, where is it here? That's a swizzle. Or sorry, yeah, you need to add a swizzle. So a swizzle will rotate the axis. So in this case, it's going to rotate it to be on the X, pardon me, on the Y axis, okay? Then for S needs to add a negate on here. Negate just means it adds a negative number to whatever it is, right? So a W is going to add 1, and S is going to add -1. Okay? So if you ever print string for all of your inputs, especially if it's an axis, you're going to see basically it go to 1 and it go to -1. That's how it works. D is the only one you don't have to do anything with, because by default, once again, it goes to the right. So A, you just need to add a negate, right? That's going to minus the right vector, and now it's going to be left, right? So that's how it works. So yeah, that's, where was I? For the adjust camera distance, we're going to use an axis, and I honestly think, I don't think we need the swizzle, actually. I think it's just the negate, because this is just a 1D axis. It only goes one direction, right? If it's a 2D like this one, then that's when you would probably swizzle it. So let's do that and make sure that that works. We could just add a print string in our controller. Toggle camera distance. We'll do that one first. Shit, we got to change that. Sorry. In actions, just camera distance. This is going to be an axis 1D. Okay, so there's our axis. Now we're going to go to triggered, and we'll just print a string, and we'll just see what it's going to say here. Okay, play. So I'm going to scroll up. We got -1, so it's backwards. And I'm scrolling down, so it is backwards. So let's... I wonder if I get rid of that negate. I wonder if it just does this by default, to be honest. Whereas in this... Negate. Let's just get rid of the negate. Maybe it'll... Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So it does it by itself. That's great. Alright, so that's that working. Now we just got to get it to actually do stuff when we actually put the input in. So let's go to combat. This guy. No. So yeah, this is where we would want to get the camera manager. You know what I mean? Let's get camera manager, because then we're... Or actually, you know what? You can't get owning character, right? Or controlled... You can get controlled pawn, but we need the character specifically. Get controlled pawn. get camera manager. I wonder if this will just automatically get the camera that we're using. Let's try it out. Get player camera manager. Oh, we got to set this back to the default one? Yeah, we do. So we'll clear this. Get player camera manager as a camera manager object reference. Then we need to set spring arm. No. Set. We need the spring arm. This should go in the player then, I guess. Right? So we'll cut that. We'll put it in the player. I hate putting stuff in the player, but it is whatever. So there it is. Adjust the camera distance. Now all we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this print string. We're going to grab our camera boom. We're going to set camera. What is it called? Sorry, let's target arm length. Set target arm length. Okay, and it's going to be off of started. Let's multiply this. Hang on. Sorry, I'm thinking of the other thing. We're not multiplying it. We're going to set the target arm length. Action value equals, let's say equals 1. And then we'll get that. If it doesn't equal 1, then we're obviously doing it the other way. So if it equals 1, it'll be positive, meaning we're getting closer. So we'll do 200, and then we'll duplicate this, plug in the camera boom. And I see some comments coming in the corner of my eye here. Just 2 secs. I'll finish this. 300. All right, what do we got here? So you could lerp it, TG. You know what? You're 100% right. We should lerp it. That's a good call, because then it's actually smoothed out. Actually, if we enable camera lag, we might not need to. Where was it? Not socket offset. Where was it? Camera lag. Enable camera lag. Camera lag speed we'll do like 50. Camera lag max distance. Okay, clamp to physics, blah, blah, blah. Enable camera rotation lag. We don't want that for sure. Okay, let's test it out and see how it works. See what it looks like. So right now we should be... Okay, so it does snap. So yeah, we should use a lerp then, 100%. Unless this is too low. Like if we do like, let's just do that. No, it still snaps. So yeah, let's use alert. David coming in clutch. Where was that? Enable camera light. We'll just disable that now. Linear. So rotation lag is pretty cool. Is it? Did you answer my question? No, I didn't. Can we make a 2-weapon system where we spawn in with a melee weapon before the round starts and then pick a loadout system? Probably not in this. It's a combat game, so there's going to be fighting. I see. You probably want to add like melee weapons, I see. Maybe. Yeah, we'll say maybe. I'll add that to the ideas. Did I close that? Of course I did. So we'll just say add melee weapons. Okay, by the end of the stream, I'm hoping I can actually add the lock-on camera as well. That would be super awesome. So this is also why I wanted the camera manager, because I need to get all actors a class, which really sucks, because I don't want to do that inside the player. Yeah, that really sucks. I'm gonna have to make sure that there's a base class, I guess. Okay, whatever. So, minimize that. So let's use a lerp. Yes, this goes away. This... hold up. So when this is -1, does this go backwards from B to A? Is that how it works? Because I know the alpha is how long it goes from A to B, right? So we need like almost like a timeline. Actually, we don't need a timeline. Elapsed seconds. I think you actually would use this. Yeah, let's go back into the inputs, because there's some other things we can do. Modifiers, or is it, no, I might be thinking of something else, but it's in the IMC. I'm thinking there's something in here you can, setting behavior, triggers? Perhaps it's not hold. Pulse. There's one of the, or is it released? I'm just trying to set the amount of time it's, you know what I mean? Because that might affect this. Elapsed seconds. I don't know if this goes only up to 1. Or if it keeps going. Because this is going to be either -1 or 1. Do you know what I mean? So it's not going to have 0, which we need, because 0, I believe, is A, and then it'll probably say here, linearly interpolates between A and B between alpha 100 and alpha 0. So yeah, the action value won't work here. What if we do, instead of a lerp, let's do a axis... What is it called here? Axis range something. Or it's... I can't remember exactly what it's called. So I'm going to look over here and someone's going to tell me. I could timeline the alpha. Yeah, 100% you could timeline the alpha. Same using... Yeah, that's what I was saying. I prefer Left 4 Dead, World War Z, where each character class has specific starting weapons. Well, we could make it a thing where you start with specific weapons and then you can unlock some, right? We can do that. You could get the spring arm with an interface. I could. Eddie says, I'm using a bit of rotation lag in my spaceship game. It does feel cooler once I added it. Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, I mean, we can look into that afterwards. Should we add a bool? Okay, sorry, I'm just a lot of stuff going in my brain here. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without using a timeline, to be honest, but... lerp makes the most sense. It's just the alpha. So... unless we get a... let's just see what there is. Float spring interp. Oh, we have delta time here. Ooh, let's use this. So we'll get world delta seconds. And then we will clamp it. Perfect. Initialize from target. If set, then current value will be set from the target on the first updates. Sure, we'll leave that false for now. This is spring state. What's this? It's a... let's make this. I don't know what's in here. Oh, of course, nothing. Stiffness, critical dampening, delta time, mass, whatever. This is what I'm stuck on now because it's either going to be 200 or 300. Right? Is this a new node? I've never seen it. It's been in for quite a while, honestly, but so why are we making a community game? I may have missed that part. Just because I think that's a little bit more fun than just making a system each week. You know what I mean? Like have something kind of we can all build together and work together on. Same using it for my ADS guns. And this is node. Yeah, so we target velocity amounts. Current would be the target arm length. Target would be, yeah, let's make a, okay, I have it here. Let's make a what's it called? This one, variable. We'll just call it camera near. Okay, and then we'll get this right here. Get camera near. And we'll start it off as, what are we going to start this? We're going to start this off close or far? Let's start this off as far. So we'll say camera near false. Then we're going to get a select node. And the wildcard will be this. Okay, and false means that it's not near. Is camera near? Christ, my brain is just malfunctioning hard thinking about this. This should not be that hard. True. Are we near? So true. Let's, if it doesn't work, we'll flippity flop. How about that? Okay, so it's that, and then this will be, we'll get the camera boom, and we'll get camera, what do we call it? Sorry? Get target arm length. And that's going to be the current, because we're going to be setting that right here. Return value is going to be this. And then we got to set camera near to the other one. You know what I mean? So let's hide this. Camera near, set that. Let's just say equals. Does it equal 200? If it does, then it's true, right? If it's not, it's false and it's not near. So we'll do that. Okay, let's hit compile. Let's see if this works. What do we not like? Probably did do something stupid. Error. Spring state pin is invalid. So do I just got to make one? Sure. I don't even know what's in that struct. So that just straight broke it. So it doesn't even work after that. So camera world delta seconds. Yeah, that didn't work at all. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just use a timeline. Start. Let's change this, instead of camera near, let's change this to camera moving. All right, how about camera distance change instead, and we'll add a Boolean here. So we can't change our camera if we're already changing our camera, right? So, all right, so then we'll do a timeline. So camera changing distance will be false. We'll get a timeline. We're just going to get this working, and then we can come back and change stuff after if we really wanted, right? So, so we will... This one we have to get... We either have to play or reverse. Reverse from end, play from start, right? So... We got to get another... Maybe we do need that other Boolean. The one we just renamed. Camera near. Set that, convert that to a branch, and then we'll do this. And if it's camera near is true, let's do camera far, just to, I don't want to crisscross wires. Camera far is true, we're going to play from start, right? Fuck me, sorry. Play from start, play from reverse. There we go. Okay, my brain's just like, can't friggin' fathom. All right, we want this to be 2 seconds, maybe. We'll see how that looks. Add a float track. We'll set this as, we'll do another one, set this as 0 and 200. And then this one's got to be 2 seconds, 300. Let's name this track to, I can't remember what the distance, right? Or arm distance. I don't remember what the effing thing's called. Distance. Cool. Now we'll get our camera boom set. God damn it. What is it called? Do you want to granularly control over camera distance or press a button and moves all the way in or out? I want it, personally, I think it'd be better to just fix it at certain intervals, right? Select float and get the camera boom's target arm length and checked if it's equal to 300. Oh, actually, yeah, that would have been good. Oh, somebody asked what we're doing? I see a moo. Oh, you know, it's because Fat Man said, what are we doing? That's funny. Okay, so yeah, let's target arm, that's what it's called. Yeah, target arm length. Okay, that'll be on updates, arm distance, and we got another sub, I think. 3D Sven just joined the realm. Welcome to the realm. Welcome to game development, if you're new. But, okay, so then we got to set camera distance changing to true. Let's do that here so we don't constantly change it and make a bunch of random calls that we don't need. So camera distance changing, we will set that. Sorry, let's set it here just because we want it for both, right? So we'll set it here. So that'll be true. And then when we finish, we're going to set camera distance promote. No, sorry, convert to branch. No, sorry, set. What am I doing? Set false. Okay, so we'll just, after the 2 seconds, we can change that once again. And then, of course, we got to set if the camera is near or not. I do like your idea there of doing this. Camera near. You know what? Let's do this. Direction. Let's get a switch node on this. Because now, based on if we're going in reverse or if we're going forward, then we can set our camera near. Okay, so if we are going, so we set this 200 to, yeah, right? 200, yeah, 200 to 300. So if it's 200 and we're going forward, that means we're going far. So camera near will be false, and if we are going backwards, we're going 300 to 200, which means we're going to camera near. Okay, so that's how we'll control that. And this should work. If camera distance changes to, we don't want to do anything. Perfect. Let's see what we got here. Nice. It's 2 seconds is pretty long. I would even shorten that. Let's say like, it's working obviously, so, but it's just like yeah, it's too slow. So let's do 1 second on this timeline. See what that looks like. That feels way better, hey? Perfect, okay. So, could you usually use multiple inputs? Sure, you could, but I mean, why would you? If you got an axis input here, right? Are you talking about for the lerp? For the lerp, you could, 100%. And then that would also work for controller, because then you could have, like, you know, up on the D-pad, get closer, and back on the D-pad, get farther away. You know? Sure. So I see that if I just continuously scroll up, it'll go back and forth as well. You know what? I just had a thought. We don't need this. We don't need this. Because we can just get the input action value, and we'll just say equals equals 1. I'm sorry, we do need that. We do need that only because is the camera near? because what we're doing is we're just flopping these back and forth. But what we really want to do is we want to check, is our camera already near? And then if it is, we don't want to do anything. Camera near. I see. That's why you said, should we do this as two separate things? I guess this is where we can do the action. We can probably make this a function now because it's going to... Oh, we can't because the timeline's there. So we'll do this, and we'll do equals 1. Let's not do this. Let's do camera near just the regular Boolean, and then we'll do an and node. Move that over. Okay, so is the camera near, and is it equal to 1? That means that we are already near if it's true. So we want this to be false. Right? So we'll go false. Will be... Play from start, right? Yes, play from start. Okay, what about far away now? So, camera distance, we hit this node. Is our camera near? That's true. And if it's -1, that would mean it's false, which would play out of that anyway. This is getting a little convoluted, to be honest. Maybe we should just do 2 inputs. Could you also set the different levels of zoom? Sure. I wonder if an enum, to be honest, would be better here. Right? So you have close, medium, far as an enum. Do a switch on the enum. And that also would probably work pretty well with our multiple inputs. What do you think about that, everybody? Could also cache the player character by cast on possess in your player controller and throw all the input stuff in there. True. We could do that. Should we? Yeah, we could do that. Okay. Just thinking through my brains there. Okay, sure. Why don't we do that? So we'll move all this over. But yeah, actually, sorry. Let's figure this out first. If we want to, player characters loaded always, anyways. Yeah, I know, but it's the fact that we don't want to create a dependency chain, because what we're doing is we're going to be getting all the actors of class for the lock-on, and it's going to be of the enemy base class, and then we're going to be cycling through all of those and lock on to the specific one that we want. So if we cast our player character in our controller, or even get all enemies of class here, then we're creating a dependency there, so we don't really want that. I think what we'll do is we'll create an enemy manager in that regard. Okay, so all the enemy manager is going to be responsible for spawning them in. I think they have a spawner in here already, so I'm sure they have something like that in this combat variant. But yeah, the enemy manager will spawn in all the enemies, or we can even do this in the game mode. Yeah, we could do it in the game mode, and then we can have that spawn the enemies, keep track of all the enemies that are available, and then if we are locking onto an enemy, we can just ask the game mode to send us the next enemy in the array. Yeah, with an interface, let's do that. That seems like the most decoupled way to do it, personally. Okay, so different player characters, got it. Yes, exactly. Frank and Beans, yum yum. Real time, Fat Man. Cast is super cheap. Yeah, I know the cast is super cheap, but yeah, like I said, it's the dependency chain we don't want to create. We don't want to basically have everything casting to each other. Especially something as heavy as the player character and the enemies, right? So even if I have a base class, we don't really want to do that. So anyways, yeah, we'll handle that later when we do the enemy stuff, but for now, yeah, let's create a second input for this. So we'll say adjust cam far, and then we'll go into here, and I guess we'll change this to a bool now. And then we will go to this and duplicate it. And near. Adjust camera bear. The bear behind the camera. Right? But anyways, okay, so we got that made. Let's go back to the IMC. Adjust cam far. So we're going to change this to be mouse down. Mouse wheel down. And we're going to get rid of this. Oh, it's already got rid of it. Okay, sweet. Save that. We'll add the other one, which is adjust cam near, which will be mouse X wheel up. Do you guys want me to put controller stuff in here? Or do we want to just do PC and just get a game out, basically? Mouse wheel up. Right, because we already have the default stuff in here already, so... Are you using state trees for your enemies? Off-topic question. I have not used state trees, but, I mean, what a great time to learn while we're making a game, right? So, sure. Basically, what I know about state trees is hang on. Behavior trees are better for more complex tasks. State trees are better for simple AI, I think. Or is it the other way around? It's one of those two, basically. Sorry, one sec here. Yeah, funny. Anyways, okay, so let's get this working now. So let's start over. Do we need a timeline? We might be able to use the lerp now. So let's get rid of all this, and then we're gonna just put this in the controller. So IA cam, what do we call it? This one, and IA underscore this one. Okay, so these are just booleans now. And then we're going to, okay, first off, we need to have the lerp node. The alpha is what we were having trouble with before. How does this work? I want to see, let's get triggered. And let's print a string. I just want to see if this goes past 1. Because if it doesn't, that's friggin' awesome. So, alright, we'll go up. Okay, it doesn't go very high at all. So that's not going to work. Triggered seconds. That's probably not going to work either. So that is not a reliable thing to do with our lerp. We... Alpha, how do we want to do that? Okay, so are you using... Okay, now state tree is really good for complex enemies. Also, it can be done entirely in blueprints now. Also, just got better to make... It's just better to make your task evaluators and conditions in C++ structs. Behavior trees evaluate the entire tree per tick. State trees are finite state machines, lock you into a specific state until you transition. I see. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty weak on AI, so I'm actually somewhat looking forward to doing that here, just so I can like learn it a bit more. King Boars, hopefully he joins the stream when we're doing that, because he seems to be much better at that kind of stuff anyway. So, anyways, elapsed seconds. So yeah, lerp for adjusting camera far. This is where I think we should do an enum, 100%. So, camera, blueprint enumeration. We'll just say camera or cam distance. Near. I was trying to think of like a combo word, but we'll just say medium or mid and far. Okay, and perfect. Okay, then we'll go back to the controller. Let's do an F interp instead of a lerp. F interp too, because then we can get delta time. That's way better. Get delta time, and F interp is just a float interpolation node. So it's a lerp is just a linear, so it's technically also a float. But you got to have an alpha, which will be a timeline or will be something else in that regard, right? So yeah, this we can get the delta time, and then we can tell it the interp speeds. We'll say like 1 second or whatever. I think that's how it works. We'll see. If it doesn't work, we'll see. But target. Okay, so let's make a map, possibly. Yeah, let's make a map. So variables, we'll just say camera distance map. Okay, and then we'll make a map. Sorry, it's got to be the enum we made. Camera. What the hell do we call it? God damn, I hate that. I do this all the time. I just forget what I name everything. Camera distance. Let me just freaking look. Camera distance. Okay, cam distance. Cam. There it is. Okay, then we'll come up. We'll compile. We'll select this. We'll come up here, make it a map, and near will be. Sorry, the other one will be a float. We'll hit compile because I think, yeah, okay, there we go. Near will be 200. Frick sakes. Let's go back into here for a second. I just hate, this is the one thing I hate about maps and integers. We'll add a none, or sorry, a null one here. Then we'll go back into the controller. We'll add null here, and then we'll just keep adding it, and we'll remove that one after. So near will be 200. Cannot add. Okay, well, fuck me, I guess. Far, I'll make this null, this near. We'll add another one. Can't add another. God damn, this is so frustrating. Then we'll do... standby. Freaking stupid. We gotta put null on top. I wish it would just let you build the frickin' map, right? And then when you compile, it's like, oh, you can't have two of the same, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so dumb. But whatever. Okay, so we have null now, so now we can actually do stuff. So near, mid, and far. Okay, this is gonna be 200, obviously, 300, 400. Okay, so now we'll get this started. We're gonna have to do that integer trick I showed in another stream where we get the map. We're gonna have to get a key, and or we could just run this by an index, which is probably a better move. Promote to variable, we'll say distance, sorry, cam distance index. Let's clamp this slider range. We're almost gonna have to make this a function, to be honest, because this is gonna be kind of complicated. So, yeah, slider range 0 to 2. Value range 0 to 2 as well. Okay, read some comments before we continue. I don't know nothing about AI. It's gonna destroy us all, pretty much, right? Okay, so that's the value that we want. However, we need to get the camera distance index. And let's get the camera distance index right here. And this is going to be adding 1. We need to add we need to do a select node. Select integer. And the pick a, we'll just say if this equals 2, because that's the last index. Sorry, if this equals 3. Okay? If this equals 3, that means we're going to pick a, which is going to be not this. It's going to be 0. Otherwise, we're going to get this, add 1, and set that as B. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So what we're doing, I'll just explain it again. So we're coming in, we're pulling back on the mouse wheel. We're going down. So we're going to make the camera go farther away. We're going to increase this index by 1, and that's going to set B. Okay? So if this happens to be 3, meaning that the last one is 2 in this index, right? So we have, where is it here? Right? 0, 1, 2, right? So if we go to 3, there's nothing there. So if it's 3, we're going to pick A, which is 0. We're going to loop. Actually, we don't want to loop. We just want to do nothing. Actually, so screw that. Let's do branch. See, it's always good to talk through your code because then you realize you made a mistake. It does this equal 3, true, then we're not going to go any further, okay? So then we'll, if it's false, we will finterp and get the... Sorry, somebody said we can get the... Yeah, we can cast for a player in our controller. Yes, that's fine. Just remember every time you die that you have to recast to your player controller because the player's a different player now. So begin play. There it is. Get local controller. Blah 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 blah. Just thinking here because the player might not be valid right away. So we're going to cast to player controller. Player character. What's it called? BP combat, whatever the frick it is. Combat character. Before we start doing anything crazy, I'm going to go back to this guy, blueprints. I'm going to I'm going to rename this character base. Okay, it's really good to create a base character class, create a child blueprint from that, and then we'll call this combat player. Okay, now in my base class, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go to my mesh, I'm going to clear out my animations, my mesh, all my materials are going to disappear. Anything that is got an object reference in here somewhere. If there's a physics asset, any of that kind of stuff, that's all going to get cleared out. Okay, life bar. I'm tempted. I'm just going to delete that because we're going to get some errors here somewhere. Set hit. Yeah, we don't care because that life bar is gross and I want to redo it anyway. So user widget objects cast a life bar. So there's something we're setting and changing as well. Begin play, reset. We don't need any of this. Okay, let's get out of that. Our combat system won't work now with our player, but that's fine. We'll set it up later. Okay, so yeah, you clear all that out, and basically there should be nothing in here. Okay, so compile. Now in our combat player child blueprint, now we're going to set our mesh and our animation. Blah 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 blah. Right. So who was in here? Was it Manny Simple? I think it was. So Manny Simple, it'll be Manny Combats, and we'll hit compile, the materials should show up, and I think that's everything we changed in here. So why are we doing this? Because if we cast to our combat character base, that has all of our stuff in it that we actually need to reference for code, but it doesn't have all this extra shit attached to it. So that when you cast to, when you cast to it, you're not getting the dependency chain on all these materials and increasing your size map, right? So if I hit... I think I have to save in order for this to work properly, so we'll see here. We'll go to that character base, we'll go to the size map, and you can see we have montages referenced in here, and the skeleton still. But it's only 5 megabytes versus, let's see what the player character is now. 57 megabytes. So it literally divided it by 10 by just doing this, right? So if you had to cast your player character, 57 megabytes worth of stuff is getting attached to whatever blueprints called this, right? They might have a big blueprint already too. Maybe it's 100 megabytes, and now you're casting to the player, you're adding another 50 on top of that, right? So it's just to keep this separated. That's what you're doing. So make character bases and enemy bases for that exact reason, okay? All right, so back to the fun times. What were we doing again? I got distracted. Right, we were casting to... So we have to get... Let's get player pawn. Or sorry, get owning... Sorry, controlled pawn. Is that what it is? Get controlled pawn. And then we'll cast to BP character base. Right? Because that's where it has all the stuff. Okay, and then if we make a change to our character in any way, then it doesn't matter, right? Because we are casting to the base class. So anyways, we're going to cache this, like somebody said earlier. And now we have a reference to them. So now when we do our, up here, we want to get the character base class, and then we want to get their camera boom. Sorry, is that not what we called it? Question mark? Okay, I don't know why it didn't come up when I typed camera boom. That was super weird. Anyways, we're going to set camera distance, or set distance. What did we, help. What the hell is it called? I got to write that down and put it on my monitor here. As I keep forgetting this. Get, let's look. Target arm length. God damn it. Get target arm length. Pardon me. Set camera. Set target arm length. Okay, there it is. We're going to plug this in. And if this is equals to 3, which is false, then we're going to set our target camera arm length, except it's going to be... this, and then we're going to get... Hold up here. Sorry. The current is going to be whatever it was before. Maybe we just get the get target arm length and plug that in. So the current will be whatever it's set to, and then we're going to set that. Right? This can be a function, because Jesus, that's a messy one. And this has to be... That's the key. We don't care about that. We just care about this function here. Okay, and then this gets plugged into here. Yes, okay. Let's make this a function. Right-click, collapse the function. We'll just say set camera boom distance. Because we're going to plug this other side in as well. So, get out of here. You're useless. Okay, and... it's going to be the exact same thing, except this is going to be minus minus. We're going to decrease the integer by 1, and then we're going to check if it's equals to minus 1. And branch. Okay. Also, we got to fix this. If this is true, we're going to reset the camera distance... So I'm just thinking about how all this is going to work. So if this is 3 and this is true, then we need to set this back to 2, or else it's going to just continue to add some. And then when we try to make our camera go closer, then it's not going to find anything in this map, because it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, right? So we got to do that. And same thing with this. If this is true, we're going to set our camera back to 0. Maybe we get a naught out of here actually, so that it's the wires make sense. So now this will be false, and true will be here. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense, everybody. So working through that, we come in here, we get our camera distance index, get the value out of that map. That's our target. We get current arm length, get the delta time. We're going to... Let's do this. Interp speed, just so that we can change it without coming into this function. Get delta time context. Can we make context? Oh, we don't want anim update. I think we want get world delta seconds is what we want. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so let's hit the event graph. Let's look at some stuff here. Gotcha Tango and cache it. Yeah, right. Don't have any new comments, so hopefully you guys are all keeping up here. So, all right, let's check and see what happens now. So, what? Oh, right, because I need to change in the game mode. Where is the game mode? Combat game mode from character base to our player, combat player. Then that'll work. There we go. Okay, we're gonna get a bit closer. We are close. We're gonna go far away. We did. We're gonna go. Okay, it works. Okay, I'm trying to go closer. I can't. I go farther away. I can. I can't. Okay, it's the interp speed is too fast, so that's all we got to change in here. So we'll go back to the controller. Oh, the interp speed's 0. No wonder. Let's see if 1 works. If that's like 1 second, right? So. What? I'm just confused. 1 did like basically F all, so let's make it like 10. Let's see what 10 does. It still kind of jumps a bit, and it doesn't seem like it's doing the actual proper amounts. Do you know what I mean? So is this map set up properly? Yes. Target arm length. Okay. Where is it? Event graph. Let's make this like 100. Let's see what that does. I'm going to punch every single time we go in this. I'm going to punch for sure. That's pretty fast still. What about if we do 1,000? Ridiculous, but we'll see. Okay. It's doing it. It's just not smooth. Set camera windows. It's F interp to giving it a nice smooth feeling. Oh boy, you know. All right, event graph. Let's do 5,000 or sorry, you know, something redonkulous. Okay. It's still like snapping it. What if this is 0.1? What does that do? Just makes us makes the camera not work at all. So so we do need a higher amount to get our. That doesn't make sense though. Hey. Screw that then. We'll just get rid of this here because once we get it right, we don't want to change it. So let's say, let's do, like, sorry, 1,000 was enough to get us our full, returns the frame delta time in seconds adjusted by time dilation. Let's perhaps get world, get delta time instead. No, we need, sorry, yeah, right, we need the context. Get world delta seconds. All this does, for those who don't know, is everybody's machine will be running at a different frame rate or different speed or whatever. This gets the legitimate actual amount of seconds instead of how much time's passed on the machine, because it might be faster, right? So that's what this is getting. I'm just trying to figure out why the interp speed, it's almost like controlling this, like if we go through the full amount almost. TG, I found the zoom thing. It was really simple. I will send it on Discord if you want. Try it on 0.5. Try decimals? Copy. I'll try decimals. 0.5. I remember I used 0.25 in my FPS series for stuff. But yeah, see what's... I'm scrolling down and scrolling up. It's like barely moving my camera, right? So that's really weird that that's affecting that. So if I go back to 1000 and play, my camera does the full move, right? But it's just not smooth. Right? That doesn't make sense. Let's see. Get maybe. No. This needs to be the actual physical time. Let's see if let's go open the Discord here because David solved it. So let's just have a look at what it is. Said in general chat, is it because immediately sees the new value as current? Well, the finterp is supposed to blend it. Like it literally even says that here, giving it a nice smooth feel when tracking a position. Yeah, you didn't do that, actually. All right, so we'll go to our Discord. If you guys haven't joined the Discord, really great place to be if you're a game developer because a lot of great people in there. Community code share. Somebody put something in here. I know you said you put it in general. General chat or the general, this one. So you did most action wheel, target arm length, clamp it. Target arm length, zoom speed has to be in the negative values. Interesting. Okay. That is pretty simple. I mean, I like what we've done, personally, because we can set mid or whatever. It's just this is the only thing. Terp speed specifying non-default. Yeah, okay, well... I'm just going to type in delta and see what else is available. In terms of... That's for animation, so that's probably not the one we want. Yeah, so world delta seconds is the only one. You know what? No, that's... We don't want that. Yeah, this is puzzling. Because, like, I can put this as 10,000 and it's going to do the same thing. I'm pretty sure. Right? So... Putting a lerp in here would seem stupid, too. Target arm length. Oh, hold on. What if this goes on triggered instead of started? Whoops. Let's put this on triggered. Sorry. Let's do ongoing here. I'm curious, like, because this fires once, so I wonder if we do ongoing, if it'll actually smooth it out, right? No, it didn't work. It's probably because the trigger's instant, right? So that didn't work. So we almost... The timeline, to be honest, just might be the way to go in this case. Triggered won't work because triggered will fire multiple times and it'll increase this index. Like, it'll just rip right through a bunch of, like, 6 or 7 indexes, so that trigger's not going to work. Started only fires once in this particular instance. So, yeah, let's just do a timeline, meaning I gotta expand this node. Unfortunately. But I could make this a macro, yeah. Actually, let's collapse. No, sorry, we're getting rid of this, right? So we're getting rid of this. But then this becomes invalid. unless this sets new time. Yeah, maybe we do that. So yeah, we'll get a timeline. Sorry, not timeline components. Add a timeline, you know, cam distance. This is going to be new time. Except, we got to change these values now then. We got to change this to 0. And we'll make it 1 second, 0.5 and 1. Okay, and so new time will get plugged into here, and we're going to always come into set new time and then play it. Because then what we'll do is we'll come in here, we'll set our time length as 1. We'll add a new float track called, you know, cam distance, right? We'll make, I think you hold, shift and whatever. Okay, so this will be time of 0, a value of 200. This will be time of 0.5 and 300. Or not. Okay, 0.5, 300. Okay, there we go. And this will be of time 1 and 400. Okay, skinny that up so we can see. Okay, so if it starts at 0.5, it's going to be... whoa, hang on, what happened here? 400, what's this one? 300. Is this one not 200? Oh, it's 0. Okay, well, what the hell? Must not have pushed enter. 200. Okay, so yeah, if it starts here, it's going to start at this time, and we're gonna go from here to here and basically roll up and down this thing, right? So let's save that. Compile. We're getting rid of this, and we're getting rid of this. Is this still a function? Oh, it is. Event graph. Oh, I see. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to delete this function now. Okay, so we need to set the target arm length as this, and it'll be on updates. And we shouldn't need this. Let's do this. We're going to get that. Let's duplicate this so I can put it down here and we can clean it up. Okay, there it is. And these will go into a sequence node. First, we're going to set new time. Then we're going to play. This is forward, right? Okay, this one is going to get a sequence as well. And we're going to set new time and then reverse. That should work fine, and then that's doesn't need anything. Okay, let's see if this works. I don't know if I just overcomplicated the shit out of this or what I did, right? So there it is. Can't go any further. There it is. So we are setting the new time. It's just like skipping. Oh, I see. It's skipping the mid, right? So how do we fix that? So we got set new time. To be honest, I mean, yeah, I guess. .5. So if, of course, yeah, of course it does that. It, you know, it makes perfect sense. What if we don't set new time? What if we just skip this whole thing entirely? And we wouldn't need this then, or this. Yeah, let's just test this out. This is reverse. Would it reverse if it's already completed? Right? Yeah, this is where we're going to run into issues for sure. So maybe out of this, let's do this. Let's set... sorry, let's finish. We need to set the... basically set the new time. So we'll get this. No, we don't need that, sorry. God damn it. I thought I had this all figured out, but now it doesn't work. This needs to go elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? Let's get rid of this. Yeah, we'll get rid of all this. Yeah, we just keep changing our freaking thing here. So, camera near. So if we zoom in, yeah, here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna play, and we're gonna play here, reverse here. Okay, then we're gonna update that while we're, and then when we finish. Damn, it's almost like, can you create a notify like this has been hit? You can't, hey? I think it only gets single frame to smooth the current input most times. Use interpretable trigger function to take more frame updates. Yeah. Okay, is it because Squeebsy, is it because it immediately sees the new value as current? That was obviously for the old thing. Probably. I'm not really sure why that one wasn't really smoothing it out. It's probably because it's instantaneous, right? So, anyways, back to this. So yeah, we need a way. I'm just looking at the map here. I wonder if we can put the map here and we can find. Shit, that's got to be a key. Actually, let's see if this equals 0.5. Or, sorry, let's see if this equals 300, because that's midpoint, right? And if it does, then we're going to stop. So we'll create a custom event here. I feel like this is like way more complicated than it should be, to be honest. Stop cam. Yeah, I think this is like stupidly overcomplicated. I don't know why that f-interp didn't work. It doesn't make sense other than what I just said about it being instantaneous. Yeah, anyways, so 300, is this true? Yes, then we're going to stop cam. Okay, and then stop cam, and then we're going to set... Maybe we just change this to enum? No, that won't matter. I don't think these matter anymore, actually. Let's see what happens here. So it doesn't stop, and I'm just looking on the other screen. I don't have the debug on, of course. It must be too fast and never hits this. Let's print our string here. Hello. Let's see what we got here. Yes, I don't see 300 in there. So, yeah, it's moving so fast it just skips over it. So, this... Yeah, I wish we could do a notify, you know? Like a notify that you've hit this specific time. Let's see here. Nothing here we can actually use. Interesting. Okay, well, how can we get notified that we've hit the middle? Unless we just create two timelines. Yeah, like I said, this is getting stupidly complicated for no reason. You could get equals from the camera distance. Well, it's the same thing, right? It's moving too fast. I think it only gets a single frame to smooth the current input. Most times I use interps while using a trigger function or tick to get more. Well, world delta time is tick. I thought, right? Because if you get event tick, delta seconds, right? So yeah. I'm just really annoyed that F interp didn't work. So we had it working earlier with this timeline when we didn't have the mid. So if we eliminate the mid, then whatever, you know. So yeah, we'll just do. We don't need this. Don't need this. Yeah, we're stupidly complicating this. So let's just delete this, and let's set this to 300. I think 300's fine anyway. So compile times it. Okay, so. Okay, it works. It just had a bit of a snappy beginning. I think we start far. Yeah, we do. Okay, we start far. Let's go to the controller or this. Yeah, the camera movement. Okay, yeah, because we start far, so let's start close. Compile. All right, so that's done. Let's move on. We got it working, right? So perfect. And then the other thing we want to do is have the camera switch sides. So right now the character is a little bit more to the right. We want to be able to switch from either or. That one, to be honest, is super easy. So we're going to just do that in our controller once again. And this is pawn initialization. Blah, 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 blah. Sure, whatever. Let's cut this. And let's put it in a separate event graph. Let's say controls. Okay, boom. And then we'll get the other one. IA underscore... What the hell do we call it these days? Underscore toggle camera side. So we are going to get the camera transform, which I changed. Okay, location, the Y is -40. So what we're going to do is... On started, we're going to get the player base, get camera, get follow camera is what we called it. And we're going to set transform, not world, relative transform. Okay. And then we're going to go to started. You know what? We just need location. Set relative... I'm pretty sure it's relative location, not... Yeah, world wouldn't make any sense. So, started, and then this is going to be broken. And it's going to... We're going to get relative transfer location. And break that. And plug in X and Y. We want those to stay the same. But... or sorry, X and Z, pardon me. Then we're going to multiply this... or cancel that. We're going to get a flip-flop node. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Flip-flop node. Let's do a select instead. Select. I need to times this. I need this value to equal 40 times 1 or -1, essentially. Right? So we could do a flip-flop node, or we could do... we're running into the same issue now. Do we want it to smooth, which the obvious answer is yes. So do we want another timeline? I guess. Timeline. add timeline. We'll say camera side switch. And then we'll flip-flop here, I guess. Okay, let's do this. This will be 1 second as well, I guess. Camera Y transform. 1 and 2. This will be -40. Sorry, that's times 0 and -40. And then this one's going to be 1 and 40. Okay. You can try the f-interp now. We're gonna have the same issue because this is it's a bool input, right? If it had a modifier on it, possibly. Most toggle camera side. Whoops, sorry. Get rid of that. Dead zone again. Response curve. That's not what we want. Scale by delta time. Hang on. What do we got here? Let's try that. That might solve our problems. Except how do we access that? Do we have to compile or what? Refresh this? Oh. I don't know how to access that. Or smooth. Smooth input over time over multiple frames. Multiplies the input value by delta time. Okay, that's not what we want. Smooth is actually... But again, oh, do you access that through here? Input action? No, okay, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how to access that. But that's probably how you would do it, and not this silly way we're doing it. Anywho's, we'll do that. Flip-flop, no, we'll play, we'll reverse, but we don't want to be constantly switching sides all the time. You know what I mean? So I guess we'll create another Boolean and just say cam switching. And we will check that first. Convert to branch. Camera switching will be false. Okay, and while we're updating, we're going to say camera switching. Set camera switching. Where are we going to do that? Here. Yeah, we'll just do that here, I guess. I know I said before. We could do the same thing as before. We'll set it here as camera switching. Move all this down. God, look at this sketty, everybody. And then when we finish, we'll set cam switching to false. Okay. That should work. Let's just try it out. Let's get this going here. Very good, everybody. That worked out pretty good. Right, so... Alright, cool. I like the particle effect, the damage one. That's pretty cool. Alright, so... Waves big sausage around, yeah. You would wave your big sausage around, fat man. Alright, so anyways... If you don't mind, maybe the f-interp to construct might work. F-interp to constant. Oh, maybe. I see you said it's giving you a similar problem. Copy that. Okay, so... Yeah, we got that working, so what time is it? Alright, so we got 45 minutes of the stream left. Next thing we should work on should be... I mean, jumping is a good idea. So we got punching, and we got combos. And you just gotta, like, literally spam the combos, right? So, 45 minutes left. Let's see, what else do we say on here? Wave-based combat game. I want to look at the enemy system right now, just to have a look at it. Blueprints. Like they had, excuse me, they had something over here for people to spawn in. Enemy spawner, yeah. Where is that? Let's open that up. Event begin place should spawn enemies immediately. True. There's a delay on the spawn. Activate interaction. We only care about activation events if we do not spawn enemies on begin play. Copy that. Handles at once, spawns the enemy. Great. Sorry. Big ol' yawn. Enemy died. On enemy died. Spawn count, whatever. Okay. Activation delay. To be honest, probably would just make our own spawner. I would think. Because ours is going to be a little bit more, what's it called? Probably not advanced, but a little bit more customizable. Classify and respawn enemies at specific locations, yes. Because we'll probably want to have like an enemy budget and spawn enemies of certain classes and all that kind of stuff, right? So, alright, so let's go to... Do we want to work on that, or do we want to do something else? Yes, this is a Squeebzy, sorry. Is this an Unreal 5 pre-built? Yeah, this is the combat variant. So that's nice. Make a wave, AC. Yeah, we're gonna make we are making a wave combat, action combat, I think is what the AC means. You didn't read my perfect fix? What was that? Make 2 timelines, use the enum on each input, use a branch to check the view mode is mid. Then if yes, do the mid to near far if false. Oh yeah, I could have used a switch node. Yeah, you're right, fat man. Whatever, it works. I'm not going to change it. I mean, having a mid camera angle on there is not going to break our game or make or break our game. So started with the combat, custom cam work at this point. Yes. So yeah, like I said, 40 minutes of the stream left here. So I can, and yeah, we're skipping next week because we got the Tarkov debug sesh. So if you guys are doing Tarkov and have some issues, join me on that. So, anyways, we got to make a new thumbnail for the stream now because we're going to be doing this for the next couple months. But anyways, we got this. Let's do something else. Just trying to figure out what the hell to work on here. Let's see. Why don't we work on our game's rules, right? So in our game mode. So what's the rules to win? You know what I mean? So let's figure that out. So in order to win, obviously we got to beat all the enemies. Okay, so how many enemies spawn in versus how many we defeated, blah, 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 blah. And then, yeah, so let's do that. So we have the enemy spawner here. Again, I think that we should make our own. Perhaps we should start with that so that we have the logic. Can we work off the other logic that's already here? Let's see. Actor, combat, enemy spawner. Yes. Should we spawn the first enemy immediately? Well, okay, hang on. There's an enemy spawner, but there should be an enemy spawn manager. Do you know what I mean? Should that be the game mode? Probably. Let's do it in the game mode because that's the rules of the game, right? So we'll open this up. So let's see here. We're going to use data assets to make everything we want to know about the enemies, because that way we can use an enemy spawner and then just load the data asset in or send the data asset to the spawner. And then that way we can keep everything pretty decoupled, actually. So that's great. So we'll do that. And then for the actual enemy spawner manager... So, okay, first off, we need a variable for a wave. What wave are we on? Which will be an integer. Okay, and then we're going to make another one for a round. Because we'll have 4 rounds. Probably have, like, multiple waves per round, right? And, let's see here. TG, your eyes are getting green screened when you look at those green meshes. That's awesome. I didn't notice that. That's funny. Maybe we should change the green meshes then. So we'll watch this. I'll select this. Select. Where is it? Select with same material. Now I should have everything selected as the same material, and we're gonna. Can I edit selection and property matrix? Something like that. There it is. Edit selection property matrix. There's all our stuff that is green. We don't want that. We want to change the material, which I don't see an option for. Pin columns. No. Cooking data layers maybe? Nope. Details. Where the goddamn hell is the probably because it's multiples. Can I just edit it inside of the details panel? General actor. I can't. That sucks. Okay, well, you know what? How about this? I'm gonna just edit this material. That was dumb. So let's make it what? Surface properties. Do like, I don't know. Light blue's nice. Matches my face, right? So look at that. Nice. There we go. Look at that. What in the F is this? Is there a light here that's emitting green lights? Or is there an... I was just checking to see if there's an emissive value, which there's not. Where's that green light coming? There's got to be a light. Oh, I see. What's this? Oh, yeah, that's the edge. Yeah, what's this effing thing? Lava floor. Okay. Mesh. Lava. Yeah, here it is. So we're going to change the lava floor to be fucking actually lava. How about that? You know, lava color. To the extreme lava floor. Ugh. Let's go. Yes, save my lava floor. Oh, you know what? Actually, stand by. Let's make the lava floor. We'll do something funny. Look at that. That's so awesome. I have a lava texture somewhere in my personal files here. I think it's in this, and it's in stock textures. No, not in here. It's somewhere. I think it's actually to my Google Drive, game dev, vaults, UI pos. No, maybe. I don't know why it'd be in here. Notebook. It's not in there. Where the hell did I save that? God, I hate when this happens. Does this happen to you guys? Where you're like, I have this somewhere. So, I thought it was all organized, but I guess not. Game development, possibly. Nope. Textures, no, none of these. Stock assets, no, none of those. Don't think it's in here. I know I have one somewhere. Nothing in there. I feel like it is in UI. Honest to God, I can't remember where I saved it. Game Mandala taken. Nope. 3D assets. Voiceover, sound effects, icon, fonts, weapons. Where in the hell did I save? I'm so confused where I saved that. Blender, possibly. Nope. Game capture, graphics. Okay, possibly graphics. No, this is all old stuff. Stock, Steam, scripts, streaming, game assets? Nope. Video stock, plugins, textures. I already went in here. Yeah, I already went in there. I wonder if I can just find one online super quick. Cracked concrete, actually. Let's see, what does that look like? You know what? That's kind of what, like, lava looks like. Right? 2K texture, but I mean, shit, why don't we just do that? That'll be interesting. Content, camera edit, materials, do folder, materials. Okay, and then open this up again. Lava floor, mesh, this. Use the normal map of it in the lava material. Sorry, you squirreled him. Yeah, I just yeah, right? Redirected me. Okay, so we'll drag these guys in. Materials. So I believe... I'm not good with materials, as everybody who watches me normally looks. Or knows, sorry. So we'll plug that into the normal map. And then we will add, I believe, add this, right? Yeah, add to this. And then plug this in. I mean, pretty good. Mist of color, I see. And... we don't want a metallic. We almost want this on these cracks to be like a darker color too, hey? Can I add a pin to this? Select no, I can't. Oh, here we go. Let's do 1. Oh yeah, that looks awesome, to be honest. And then let's... I'm trying to texture. Yeah, I want to add, like, I want to make this texture darker. How do I do that? Do I just do that here? From texture, blah, blah, blah. Someone's going to tell me in here. There was a normal map that I missed. Isn't that what this is? Oh, that's the displacement map. Oh, whoops. Displacement will be the roughness, right? Yeah, okay, and I missed the normal map copy. Let's have a look. Here it is. Craft. Oh, that's the roughness map right there. So let's add that in. Concrete, crack, normal. Okay, so we'll add those in. I don't know why those are affinity files and not the other ones, but whatever. Roughness. Right here, roughness. And then this was the normal maps, which we'll do this. Displacement map. I don't think... I don't know how Unreal deals with displacement, to be honest. But, I mean, that looks pretty good, to be honest. So we'll just stick with that. Remap. Sure. I don't want to get too crazy into it. It's a material. And we're in testing stage. I just want it to look cool. There we go, everybody. We got some lava. That looks dangerous, right? You can add some particle effects of, like, shit spewing up. That's pretty cool. So, alright, sweet. Alright, so, what do we got here? We got half an hour left, and let's see what we want to work on here. Yeah, we're talking about the rules of the game. So we're inside of the game mode. We have a wave and a round. So after that, what else do we need to win? We need to have a number of enemies remaining. So we'll say number of enemies. To spawn. Let's start with that. Okay, so a number of enemies to spawn, and then we'll duplicate that number of enemies remaining. Okay, so we'll hit compile there. So for sure we need that to know if we've won the round. What else do we need? We will want to have an array of enemies, essentially. So spawn, Just one sec. I'm just trying to think here. I was just thinking about how to do a system where you can tell it to spawn a certain amount of enemies of a tier. I think we did this in a stream like months ago, but oh man, now the wife wants to go to the other relatives for another Easter thing. Help me. Yeah. Sorry, I can't help you. I'm all the way over here in Canada. But all right, so one of my lights died. Hopefully it doesn't make me disappear, but oh well. Okay, so we got round waves, number of enemies found. Okay, so let's start with event begin play. I don't think we should be spawning enemies right away. I think that should be a trigger box and a interface. I think that's how we should do it. So let's make an interface for that. All contents, new folder, interfaces, blueprint interface, and we're just going to say GM for game mode, and we'll say spawn enemies. Holy crap, why can't I spell enemies? It's ridiculous. Alright, spawn enemies. New function, we'll just say start, or sorry, start wave. Or start wave, we'll do that. Boom, okay. So we'll start the wave. The inputs for this, I'm just thinking how we're going to do this. What information are we going to need? That's what we're thinking about right now. So we're going to probably need, if we hit this trigger box, we're starting a specific wave. So we'll probably want to know the wave number. Sorry, the wave number. Yeah, sorry, wave number. That'll be an integer. And we could, let's make this a struct. I was just thinking, let's just make this a struct. Make a new folder for data. And blueprints structure. We'll just call this wave data. Okay, so because then we can add this and we don't have to go back and change a bunch of stuff, right? So yeah, this will be an integer. Because yeah, later on I'm sure we're going to come up with more stuff to add in our waves or whatever the case is, right? So this will be wave number, add variable, round number. Then we can actually put all this maybe in a data table too, hey? And then we can get the waves and all the enemies that are in each wave and all that kind of stuff too. That's pretty cool. So then we'll do enemy types. Enemy types, or do we want to do enemy types? Is that gonna be a data asset? This is all tough stuff. Could make enemy tiers. Yeah, I kind of want to make enemy tiers. That would make it better or more fun, I guess. Tier dev says I'm dodging that right now in terms of WOV going to a relatives for Easter. That's funny. All right, so enemy types. Do we want that to be a data asset? How about enemies to spawn? And then we will make a data asset, primary data asset right now. That'll be blueprint class, primary. Yeah, primary data asset, PDA enemy data. Okay, we'll edit that another time, but we'll just get it in here. PDA enemy data object reference. Yes. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll hit save. So that's in our struct. What else do we want to know in our wave data? For now, that's probably it. Okay, so where's our game mode right there? Okay, so we'll hit compile. We will oh, sorry, we had to do this. So we're gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna just add our struct in. Or sorry, our wave data. Struct wave data. There we go. Okay, so that's it. Now we'll go into our game mode, and now we'll add that interface in our class settings. Oh, I said GM, not BPI. Like a novice. BPI, GM, spawn enemies. There we go. There it is. Okay, we'll compile. We'll add that event in. So we're going to start our wave. We're going to get our wave data. We're going to... Let's make a function, because we're going to do this all the time. Every wave we do. So function, new function, F, wave update. Let's do wave set instead. Or sorry, round set. F round set. Okay, we'll put wave in here. We will put round in here. We only have to do the round once, but whatever. Okay, so that, and then we'll get the, sorry, where's the event graph? Wave data, we'll break this for a second. I guess we could have just done that as the input too, hey? Well, let's do that, Jesus. S wave data, there it is. Okay, let's compile, and then we can break this. Okay, and we're gonna get, this should be an array, pardon me, in our struct. Because we want to do enemies to spawn. So now back in the game mode, what we can do is we can get the length. And that is going to be the, I think we're going to add 1 to that. +1, because the length includes 0. You know what? Actually, that's fine. Because this is all going to include 0 anyway. I think. Oh, sorry. No, I'm wrong. So we're going to add 1. And that will be number of enemies to spawn. Okay. A number of enemies remaining will also set as the same. And that will set up our round. So we'll get a return node. Add a return node, and now there we go. So now we got all the data that we need to run our round. The only thing we need to do is actually set, probably create, promote this to a variable as well. Enemies to spawn, and we can just throw it right here probably. And then this can move up here. Just like that. Okay, so we know what exactly what enemies we need to spawn in, and then we also should clear this array that we have right here. So we will make a note in this function, the description called when a new round starts. Yes. Okay. Start called when a new round starts. Perfect. So keywords, pure, colon editor. I don't think we need to do anything here. So we'll categorize all these as well. We'll say wave variables, I guess. Perfect. Okay. So we got that set up. Now, how do we call this event? Well, we should have a spawn area, right? I don't think we should just have what they have, which is just like a couple of random ass spots. Like we should have, like, to be honest, like another door here that just opens up. We'll have all the enemies spawn in behind this door, and then the door opens, and then they just kind of run out. I think that would probably be best. So let's just copy all this stuff. And something like this. Sure. Yeah, we'll do that. This is, I think, one whole piece, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to copy all of these as well. And there's probably a door blueprint or some stupid thing as well. Let's rotate this 90 degrees, or 180 degrees, pardon me. That seems good. And then, obviously, let's change the scale on this. To something like that. Does this have to come forward? I think so. Does that... I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's a test level, right? So... Okay, this, I'll move back here so we can get a bit more room. This guy, I will scale backwards as well. So we have a bit more of a run. Don't really, I know I got meshes just kind of in places. That's fine, whatever. It's, like I said, it's just a test level. Don't normally scale stuff because I think it looks stupid, but, you know, like I said, whatever. Okay, so then we got this door blueprint right here. Door size. Ooh, we can set that dynamically. Super cool. Well, it fits perfectly there anyway, so... Alright, well, not exactly perfectly, but it's close enough. Alright, it's comments, sorry. Let's see here. Work's finally over, catch you all later. Nice, man, see you later. Thanks for joining the stream. Started using IF for interfaces in my project. Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, that's a good idea. Ed says, I have a system kind of like that at my spaceship game. What system is that right now? Oh, the enemy tiers, I see. I'll post in the Discord, though it's quite basic, to be honest. Yeah, sure, we'll have a look at it. What do you guys use for ambient NPCs, mass AI, mass entity? In terms of state trees or behavior trees, is that what you're talking about? And then David says, TG, can you get the you can get the return node in functions by typing the period key. Yes, I knew that as well, but you can also get a rewrote node key as well. So sometimes I get the wrong one, and then I spend more time, so I just abandon that whole thing. And then yeah, Ed just said he shared the his enemy tier thing in the community code share in the Discord. It's awesome. Like spawning NPCs and despawning. So how do you handle spawning multiples at once? Well, you try to not spawn everything all at once, so that's what we're going to use this room for. We're going to be basically protecting our CPU, you know, for example, and having them spawn in here. And we're only going to spawn what's required for each round, and then once they all die, they're going to get despawned. We'll get cleaned up by garbage collection, all that kind of stuff, and then in here we'll spawn the next round. Okay, so that's what we'll do. This door size, whatever. Yeah, door thickness, split door, add door, door frame. Where does it? So this looks like on I'm going to open this up. I guarantee you it's on actor overlap that opens the door. Look at that. We don't want that. We want, we should make a door class, because I'm sure we're going to have different kinds of doors in our game, to be honest. So what we'll do is we will, where is this located? If we go back into the level, sorry. Right click, browse to asset. Just get rid of this, sorry. Browse to asset, where are you? interactable door. We're going to rename this to door frame class. And once again, we will create a child, and we'll just call this BP door frame, you know, basic. Basic bitch one. Sorry, we'll say basic door frame overlap, because that's what it is. And then we'll need to create, first of all, let's change this one. If I can select the goddamn thing. Ugh, there you are. So we'll replace selected actors with door frame overlap, so it's not the base class. And now this thing is freaking super huge, I guess. Sure, that works. All right, so that's that, and then we'll make another one here, another child called BP door frame triggered. So, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, and so we have this event actor begin overlap, and then it's calling this open door event in the parent. Okay, so if we want to override that in the so for example, let's open up both the overlap and the triggered. Okay, so in overlapped, if we go to the event graph, you can see it says actor on begin overlap, begin act, whatever. It's got a call to the parent function, so it's going to do exactly what's being done on in the parent function when this event is called. Okay, for the triggered, we want to not do that, so we're going to delete this node, and then now when we call on event begin overlap, we're going to do our own stuff, which is nothing. Okay, so we're not going to do what we're doing in the parent thing. Okay, so we want to just make sure that we're overriding that and not doing that. What we do want to do is we want to have a custom event, or hang on, how are we going to call the event on this door? Let's create another event in the parent. Sorry, was this the parent? Yeah, it was. So let's create another custom event in the parents. We'll call it, well, we already have an event. Open door. Right? So yeah, we'll keep that in the parents class. Where is it? Right here. So we'll keep this event, and closed door, so good. We'll have to call closed door at some point too. But yeah, we just basically got to call that event at some point, and then it'll have to be on this. Yeah, so yeah, it's fine. So the only thing we're doing in here, sorry, my brain's working way too fast here, but the only thing we're doing is we're just overriding the actor begin overlap. So now when I play here, hopefully the enemies don't kill me, but God, you walk so slow. Okay, so the event overlap still works. It shouldn't work. Oh, did I see, I didn't change this one. So this should be replace actors with triggered. Okay, and we'll sync it in just a little bit. Oh no, it's fine. Okay, cool, whatever. So yeah, we'll try that again here. Play from here. So now this shouldn't open. But it did. What the fuck? It should be overriding that function. Unless I just need to put like something here. This node is disabled, will not be called. Let's just do a print string to activate it, and then there we go. Okay, so it probably will work now. There, see? So yeah, it didn't open because we overrode that function. It was just ghosted out, so it was just doing what was default to the parent anyway. So, alright, so that's all we want to do there. Next, let's find out how to trigger this door to open. Can you get, just curious, where's the game mode? Get current level. We can get current. Does that work? Does this work for level instances? Or is this just for specifically the level that is open? You probably got to get the level streaming, or get streaming level. There we go. Okay, get level streaming, and then you can probably get all, or get all actors. No, you can't. All right, well, we got to figure that out. Maybe we just do the async system. This async message, not the message system, the async, or yeah, the async message system, possibly, where we just say open door or something like that. Yeah, let's do that. And then what we can do is in the door class, we can add a Boolean called active door. Okay, so we'll do that. And then when we, before we do this open door, we're going to add this Boolean check in here. Is the door active? True. So then when we hit a trigger zone, so let's create the trigger zone now as well. So we'll make a new actor class here. We'll just keep it in here because it's going to be the same thing. Blueprint class, actor. This will be a door trigger. Or sorry, let's say wave trigger. And I got to properly name it and BP blah blah blah, right? Because we're good game developers. Anyway, so there's that. All this is going to have in it. I have so many things open, so what I'm going to do is... Which one do I have open? Close... Let's close... Select this one, close all tabs to the left. There we go. Okay, so wave trigger is just going to be a box collision. Okay, and... this should probably be set in the construction script, like I usually do. Set box extent. Make that or promote that to a variable, and we'll just say trigger size. That'll be instance editable. We'll hit compile, and now we can put that into the world and set it manually. But when we overlap with this, we are going to confirm cast to could do cast to player character. We could also do cast to, we could also do this equals because it's going to be single player. Get player character, or are you ready up here? Yep, perfect. Does our other actor equal a player character? Right. There we go. And then if it does, then let's create a doors to activate. And let's make that a BP door frame class object reference array. Okay, and that will be instance editable as well. So if we have multiple doors, now we can activate more at once. Okay, so we'll just say get doors to activates, get a for each. And we will, I guess we got to make an event in there, hey? Door frame class, custom event, activates, door. Okay, and then we'll set active door to true. You know what? Let's make this an input, and then we can set it when we exit a certain trigger as well. Hey, so let's save there. We'll go back to this, and then let's make another Boolean here called should activate door. That'll be a Boolean, regular single, and instance editable. Okay, and then we're going to activate door, and then we can put that Boolean on. Okay, so now we can have an exit trigger. So as soon as we exit the level, sorry, I'm looking at like fucking nothing like here instead of at you guys, right? Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna check if we should activate this door. If we leave a level, we can put another trigger zone. Should activate door, super cool. And we also gotta set this up so that this trigger zone can't be triggered multiple times, right? So anyways, we'll just start with this. Let's go back and do our level here. So this door is a regular ass door, so we will click on it. We'll just say, didn't I add door frame? Yeah, I thought I compiled. Oh, maybe I didn't compile on all this. Oh, I did. Activate door. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Sorry. Okay, so we'll put the trigger box right here. Wave trigger. Oh, I should also set a default for this, or else it's going to be 0 and you can't see anything. So let's do 500 by 100 by 200. Eddie says, I've yet to do Tarkov Series 2. I need more hours and another life to do all the tutorials and courses I'd like. Yeah, right? I need another life to make money so I can just make YouTube videos, basically. So, we got another moo scenario happening here. What up, Big Cat? What are you cooking today? Fun dimension. We are making a community game, which we're going to be winding down here in a second, but yeah, so we're all going to be making we're going to be contributing to this game that's going to be made here on stream, and I'm only going to work on it on stream. I'm not going to work it any other time. So, just trying to see here. Spawning. You says don't activate. What do you mean don't activate? You don't activate. Anyways, so on event begin overlap, we're going to do that. We're going to and then have to choose our things to overlap. Okay. Anyways, so this is the wave trigger. So we're going to do this. And move that up, and then we'll set this as a little bit higher as well. Okay, so there we go, and then perhaps what we do, actually, is we make it so that the player can't come back, and that would eliminate that trigger, right? So let's, how do we do that? Let's go top perspective. And this whole thing right here. Wait, how did that work? I didn't touch anything, did I? Or maybe I did. This whole thing here, we're gonna... Now we'll go to perspective and we'll move this down. Right? And then obviously the trigger zone and this guy... Go away, I don't want whatever I just selected there. What did I just select there? Oh, is that a blocking volume? It is. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll fix that after. So, move this back up. Don't care about the jank back there. But yeah, now we can't jump back up. Okay, so this... is that what this is? Oh, nav mesh. Oh yeah, we need that for the AI. So... this should be bigger then, because we need the nav mesh to encapsulate... this as well, so they can move around in there. Okay, so there we go. We're going to test if this works in a second, but we need to click on this, and we need to tell it what doors to open, which the only one we have is this one. Doors to activate, we'll add one. We'll just use a little eyedropper. There we go. Okay, so that's the only one we want to activate. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play from here, and you will see that the door does not activate or open when I walk up here, because it's not activated. Then I'm gonna... the fuck is this now? Set life percentage... for who? Get rid of that. Set life percentage for who? Oh, I see. For the enemies. So remember I deleted that thing? The whatever it is? It's because the... It's because the widget's gone and the enemies have it, so I'm just gonna skip that node for now. Because we'll fix that later, obviously. So, anyways, I'll hit play now. Here I am. I got to punch because every single time. God, you walk so effing slow. That is getting changed so fast. Anyways, oh, this has to be auto activated. Now, wherever that is, I couldn't frickin' tell you. Let's go back into the parent to make sure that is active, so we can just auto-activate door. Door frame class, active door, instance editable. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now we can just tell it that this door is active and we don't have to worry about it. Okay, punch once again. Walk oh my god, that is the first thing we're fixing next stream we do this. Okay, so it auto activates. I can get these out of the way. Super cool, whatever. Get out of my way, boxes. Okay, now I'm gonna hit this trigger. So we're gonna activate this door now. We jump down and then we have to deal with these enemies that don't work now. Or do they work? Maybe not, whatever. But this door should open now. But it doesn't. What the frick? We didn't actually... Oh, that's a trigger door. I see. You know what? Event graph. That's the wave trigger. Yeah, that's fine. In the triggered, we don't have anything happening. Maybe we should, but we should just check if we've activated yet. So where's... Oh yeah, we got to go up here and show inherited variables. Get this, convert to branch, is activated. True, we're going to open door. Okay, there we go. Now it'll work. And now we got to walk extremely slowly, once again, to the frickin' thing. But that's fine. Yeah, David, once again. David's my... David's better than AI because he's actually paying attention live instead of my AI, right? Anyways, we hit the trigger box. Now let's see if this door opens. It does not. Why don't you open door? Yeah, your set is... Active door is false, but when I trigger this, I should be setting you as true. Correct? That's in the parent class. Activate door. Active door, true. So I shouldn't have to add it in, right? So then this is... Well, we can add the call to parent function. We don't need it there. We're not using tick anyway, so let's delete tick. And we'll delete begin play because we're not using that either. So anyways, so we got this. The only thing we wanted to override was to check and see if the door is active. If the door is active, which is true, then we should be opening the door. And then opening door active. Perhaps we get rid of this here then. I wonder if that was getting tripped up somehow. Look, they were using a lerp and a timeline too, like we were trying to do earlier, so cool. Let's put a print string here as well. Let's get a print string. And we'll just see if it says true or false for when we go through that. I don't want to walk through this whole effing thing again, so I'm just going to... Oh yeah, that's already there, so we'll start here. Okay. We got false. Oh shit. Okay, fuck, that was my own bad. Right here. Should activate door. True. Now it's gonna work. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Alright, so we're gonna hit this trigger. True. Okay, now the door should open. This reminds me of that dungeon thing in Zelda, Twilight Princess. There, see it open. Nice. So that's great. So that's on actor begin overlap. What I would probably do in this case is, so triggered. I think that's a good class to have if, as soon as we hit this trigger, we activate the door so that it can open. But perhaps we want a door. We'll do this next stream, obviously, because we're gonna wrap it up here. But maybe next time we'll make a door that opens after a certain amount of time, or something like that, right? Because we're gonna have to trigger these doors anyway to open when enemies are ready to spawned in and they want to come in, right? So, but anyways, yeah, that's the start of our little combat game, and hopefully we can keep it on going. So just to review what we did today. It took forever to get right, but we got the camera zooming in, zooming out on Will, and then we can also change our camera's side here. Okay, so the camera, or the side with the character's on, right? So this all this stuff came with default with the combat system, or the combat variants. So, and then we just made a trigger box, and then this door is going to open now that we activated it on this trigger box. So that's what we did today. Next stream, yeah, hopefully we'll get into more enemy-based stuff, and we can build some waves and all that kind of cool stuff. But first thing we're fixing is the goddamn walk speed, because it's brutal. But anyways, so yeah, that's the end of the stream, guys. I really appreciate you joining us here. And yeah, so next week is the Tarkov debug session. So make sure you join me if you are having trouble in your projects for Tarkov. We'll talk about episodes 1 through 7, and we'll make sure that we get your situations fixed. Okay, so and then after that, we'll go back to this and we'll keep working at that. All right, so yeah, thanks a lot for joining, guys, and yeah, thanks for joining the stream, David. Thank you. And next time we'll hopefully do some more fun stuff. But until then, you guys keep learning until you game over. Peace.